All right, guys, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the Indiana-esa Family Information Session. Just a few things before we get started. First and foremost, thank you for attending. And then if you ever want a copy of these slides, they will be available. Please just send me an email. My email will be at the very end of this presentation. You're more than welcome to take a screenshot of it and then send me an email requesting the slides. This will also be recorded. So if you want to go back and watch it again, you are more than welcome to. It'll be posted on our YouTube channel, which you can find the link on our website. Before we get started, I do want to give you guys a brief introduction to myself and why I'm very excited about this program. My name is Emma Weiss. I am the Outreach and Engagement Coordinator for Indiana-esa. And just a brief backstory, I have 4 siblings with disabilities. I'm one of 8, so that's about half of us. And this would have been the program that would have changed their lives. As we'll talk about later, this is specifically for students with disabilities to help better create an educational environment for them. So that's why I'm here and I'm excited. I remember watching my parents struggle and fight for their kids, my siblings, to be able to learn in a way that best suit them in a system that wasn't set up that way. And so this program does create, sorry guys, I'm battling a little bit of a chest cold today. This does create that environment that my parents would have wanted and that my siblings would have needed. So that's a little bit about me. That's why I'm very excited to talk to you today about this program. And I will be pausing after each slide just to give you guys a couple of seconds to absorb all of the information. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat and we will address them at the end. So a little bit about who we are. So Indiana-esa is a program administered by the Treasurer of State's office, and our entire mission is to help students with disabilities in the state of Indiana access scholarship money that they may use for pre-approved educational expenses. We are led by Jacqueline Guillermo. She's our executive director. And then I am Emma Weiss. I am the outreach and engagement coordinator. If at any time during the application process or you want to learn more or you have additional questions after the webinar, please feel free to reach out to me, send me an email, you can call me, but I would be the person you can contact. So this scholarship is tax-free, and I really want to hit hard on that because this is not going to impact any a family's earnings for any of the other programs that you may be taking part in. So things like Medicaid or Medicaid waivers, SGO funding or disability, all of these things that are very hinge upon your income, this scholarship is not going to impact this. So next, student eligibility. So we do have a couple of requirements for students in order to participate in the program. The first being that all students must be a permanent resident of the state of Indiana. The second is that they will need to require special education services and have an IEP, ISP, or CSEP already developed for them. So an individualized education plan, a service plan, or a choice special education plan. They also must be between the ages of 5 and 22 years old by August 1st of 2022. And there is an income requirement. This is a very attainable income requirement for Indiana families. It's going to be, the income cannot exceed 300% of the federal free and reduced lunch income. Now over here off to the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see I have a chart here. This is also available on our website. But so for example, a family of 4 cannot exceed earning $154,012.50 a year. So as I said, this is a very attainable income requirement for our families. Now, as I had mentioned previously, this program is all about creating the educational environment that best suits your student. So a big part of that is going to be our participating entities. You can see a list here. We also have a full list on our website, once again, that you can reference as well. But a couple of ones that I do want to hit home on this is going to be the non-public schools, because upon accepting an education scholarship account, you will need to disenroll your student from the public school full-time. Okay. That being said, public and charter schools are still a participating entity because families do have the ability to enroll their student in individual courses or programs in the public or charter schools in their areas. Now, they cannot be enrolled full-time or part-time, but they still can be enrolled, or they still can take part in individual courses. So for example, if you are a family who would like to start educating from home, which is very much an option, but you're concerned that you might not be able to teach like a 7th grade math class as the parent of the student, that's not an issue. You can reach out to your public or charter school and enroll them in that 7th grade math class, and then continue on to educate them from home in the other subjects. Another one that I want to hit is going to be the assessment providers. So upon accepting an ESA, the student will still be required to complete any state mandated testing, along with any other testing that they would like to take part in. So state mandated testing such as I Learn, WIDA for our English language learners, anything that is going to be listed in your student's IEP, ISP, or CSEP, that will still need to be completed. However, there are also going to be those optional tests that students might want to take. So if you have a high school student who wants to take AP literature, they are more than welcome to use the ESA funds for that AP Lit exam. So next, now that we know exactly who can be a participating entity, we're going to look at some of the qualified expenses for our program. All right, another couple ones that I want to hit. Like I said, we do have a full list on our website, but first being those tuition and fees. You can use your ESA funds as for the tuition and fees at a non-public school if you would like to enroll your student in a non-public school. You can also use them, like I said, for those assessments, also for therapies and services. So if your student needs ABA therapy, you're more than welcome to use this program for the ABA therapy that they need, or speech and language. You can use it for tutoring. There's a whole host of things that this program can help you with. Let's see here. I do want to point out though, that there are only a few services that may be virtual. So at this time, we've got occupational therapy can be virtual. We've got training programs and camps. Those can also be virtual, and those will have a specific skill focus. So things like life skills, soft or interpersonal skills, things of that nature. Those are the camps and programs that you can utilize virtually. And then also educational services such as tutoring. So you can use a virtual tutor if you would like. So there are a couple, or we do have other school choice options here in the state of Indiana. We have one other program, but I'm going to tell you exactly why ESA stands out. So first, I do want to acknowledge that the eligibility is going to be very similar for the Choice Scholarship Program. Honestly, the eligibility mirrors the voucher program. However, students cannot use both ESA and Choice at the same time. But the biggest way that we stand out is going to be our expenses. So you just saw a whole host of qualified expenses. We are not just tuition and fees. Okay, you can use it on those tutoring services, the therapies, other educational services, whole host of things, transportation even. So we have a lot of different expenses that we can use this program for. The application window, our application window is opening on June 27th and August 5th. It is different from another choice or from the Choice Scholarship Program, but that is opening soon. So you want to make sure that you've got all of your documentation ready. We're about 20 days out and we're very excited about it. If you do have a provider that you are currently using and they would like to become an approved provider for the ESA program, their applications are open and rolling. So please tell them if they are interested that they are more than welcome to apply. Payments. Families, as the student's family, you have direct access to the scholarship money and will be paying your vendors directly. Okay. Now, I know I keep saying there's a lot of different choices, a lot of options, and you might be wondering, well, what all options do I have if I can't send my kid to a public school, but you've only mentioned private? Your student can go to a non-public school, state accredited non-public school. They can also utilize non-state accredited non-public schools. You can also utilize educating from home. So if that's something that you've ever wanted to do, this would be your opportunity to do so. You can also, students who need to be in ABA therapy full-time. So you have a student who's going to an ABA center full-time, the scholarship would work for that as well. Now, I do want to point out some requirements for families upon accepting the ESA. First, this money must be used for core subjects such as math, English language, reading, grammar, social studies, or science. It will need to be used in part on a subject, a core subject, or in accordance to their plan. So their IEP, SP, or CSEP plan. Students must also take those statewide assessments, even if they are educating from home. And then this will also need to be renewed annually with a preference given to students who are already account holders. So once you've applied this year, the next year you'll need to renew your account. This account will also terminate upon graduation or the student receiving a certificate of completion. Next, let's talk about this calculation of the scholarship. How are we finding out how much money your student will be receiving with this? And just like everything else in this program, it is very individualized. So the first part of it being it's 90% of your tuition support based on your local public school district. Okay. Next, we've got the APC funds or the special education grant dollars. So that's going to be listed in your student's IEP. And it'll have, there's 3 different tiers. So the first tier is going to be your quote unquote more severe disabilities, such as autism or multiple disabilities. The second tier is going to be the more quote unquote moderate disabilities, where that's going to be things like dyslexia. And then the third is the third one is just speech and language pathology. So we'll take that 90% of your students' basic state tuition support dollars, plus those special education dollars based on your student's level of disability and outlined in the IEP, ISP, or CSEP, pull those together, and that will be your Indiana ESA scholarship. Parents will be able to access the scholarship through our secure online portal, and those payments will be the scholarship will be dispersed quarterly. Right now, there is not a cap on this account. So actually, in fact, students have so families and students have the ability to roll over up to $1,000 each school year. So you have a student this year who starts with Indiana ESA in kindergarten. They decide that they are going to save $1,000 each year out of their ESA funds. They have the opportunity to start 9th grade. So 9 years from them starting in kindergarten with an ESA, 9th grade with $9,000 of that additional rollover money that accumulates, and starting 9th grade with $9,000 plus their ESA for that school year. Okay. There is, like I said, there is not a cap on this account. There is not a cap on the amount of money you can have in here. However, we do have a set amount of scholarships that we can hand out this year, or that we can award this year. With that being said, we're anticipating quite a few applicants. So you want to make sure that if you want this scholarship for your student, that you have your documentation ready and you are ready to apply once that application opens on June 27th. All right, so payments for providers. This is going to be something you guys need to know. Payments are made in arrears. So that's going to be after the service is completed. Once your student has received that tutoring service or that therapy, then upon completion of that service, the provider will hand you as the family an invoice. That invoice will have a bunch of different information on it, including the services that you've received, the payment due date, etc., as a typical invoice would have. At that time, you would then upload the invoice to our secure online portal so that our account specialists in our office can review that, make sure that everything on there is a qualified expense, and then we would approve it and send that money over to the provider. You can see where I've got that outlined over here on the left-hand side of the screen in a graphic. But that is how payments are going to be made. So once that service is completed, then you'll receive the invoice. You'll upload that invoice to your account or to your account. and then we will approve it from there. If there is a remaining balance from the service, that will be the family's responsibility to pay out of pocket. So for example, if you are going, I'm just going to use ABA therapy for the next couple of examples. If you are going to an ABA center and your child is, or your student is receiving an hour of ABA and it's $100, and you know that you've got $90 left over in your ESA account for that disbursement, you will then need to, you can submit it for that $90, that whole invoice. We would pay out the $90 that's left in your ESA account. That remaining 10 would then be the family's responsibility to pay. Okay. And that would be like a payment that is mutually agreed upon between you and the provider. So if that's going to be a check, cash, debit, credit card, it'd be between the family and the provider. Can families still bill or through insurance? In fact, we actually encourage you to continue using your insurance. For the most part, insurance will pick up a large part of the bill. So how the payments will work with insurance is once the service has been completed and your provider has billed your insurance to cover it. So say your insurance will pick up 90% of your ABA therapy that was $100 an hour. You have that 1 hour, 90% of that is going to be that $90 that insurance is going to pay, meaning you still have that $10 left over for your ES or left over from that service. The provider can then update that invoice to show that insurance has picked up $90 of that service. And then you would upload that invoice and then your ESA funds would cover that additional 10. Okay. So I keep talking a lot about this ESA portal and how families are going to be using this portal for a lot of different things. The biggest thing though is this is going to be not only how you do your application, but also how you're going to find providers. So if you, for example, need to find a tutor in Fort Wayne, let's say you need a tutor in Fort Wayne, you're going to go into your portal and you're going to type in tutor. That's going to give you a very long list of all of the tutors in the state of Indiana. You can then filter that out based on zip code and distance. So if you want a zip or that tutor in Fort Wayne, you're just going to type in your Fort Wayne zip code and that'll pop up all of the tutors in Fort Wayne. If you are willing to travel for a really, really good tutor, then you are more than welcome to expand out that search for like 5, 10, 15, 50 miles even, saying that you are willing to travel to this specific tutor. But that is going to be able to that is how you are going to be able, sorry about that guys, to find those ESA approved providers. Okay. Another big part of this portal is going to be that this is going to be how you submit your application. So you'll log in, you'll create your profile, and then from there, you'll upload all of your relevant documentation. So that's going to be things like your proof of residency. So proving that you're an Indiana state citizen or that you have permanent residency in the state of Indiana. That can be used in tandem with your proof of income. If you have a tax return, you're more than welcome to upload that tax return as proof of residency and as proof of income. Okay. If for whatever reason you do not have a proof of income that's like a tax return, I was talking to a family not long ago who was on disability, and so it's non-taxable income, so she doesn't file a tax return each year. In that case, whatever you would take to the BMV is going to be, like, to change your address is going to be good for us. So that's going to be something like your lease or your lease documents, your any mortgage documents, a current utility bill, something of that nature that proves that you live where you say you live on that application. The next thing you're going to need is your student's birth certificate, just a copy of your student's birth certificate. This is going to be able to prove that age range. So remember, 5 to 22 years old by August 1st. We're also going to need a copy of your student's IEP, ISP, or CSEP plan. This is going to be how we find that APC level, and then also prove your student does require special education services. And then lastly, that proof of income. Gold standard is going to be a tax document or a W-2, something of that nature. But if you have, so for families who are like that family who's on disability, they have a letter from the state of like a disability award letter. That would also work. This application can be completed from any device. So it can be it can be completed on a desktop, a laptop, your smartphone, a tablet, anything that you have that has access to the internet, it is friendly with it. So in that case, when you're looking at uploading these documents, you don't have to worry about finding a scanner. Just take a picture with your phone or with your tablet or whatever device you have to take pictures with. Take a quick picture of it and you upload it from your phone or your tablet or your laptop. You can, like I said, you can complete this application from any device, anywhere. Next, Class Wallet. So Class Wallet is our account vendor. I only want to show you guys this name because you will be receiving a email from them shortly after your application is approved. And you'll need to set up your account. So this is going to be where you're able to view your disbursements, any of your transactions. This is what payments are going to be made through. So like I said, you'll receive that email. And this is where to set up your account. And then this is what this is what payments will be made through. It is a separate portal from your ESA portal where you can find those providers and complete the application and the renewal, like renewing your application. So that's why I want you guys to know this name so that it doesn't seem like it's spam. All right. Thank you guys for joining me today. At this time, I do have a poll that I would like you guys to complete. Let me get this pulled up really quick. And at this time, we will start taking questions. So if you have questions, put them in the chat, please. All right, so I do see that we have a couple of questions. The first one being, how can we see a list of specific providers in those criteria? We do have a list of approved providers currently on our website. Actually, it's being updated because we've had a bunch of new providers that have been approved in the past couple of weeks. But that list will be available on our website by the end of the week, and you'll be able to see that updated list of all of the providers that have been approved to accept ESA funds. And then our website will have much more information. So if you have a smartphone, this QR code right here at the bottom left, that will take you directly to our website where you can see that full list of the qualified provider, the participating entities that are allowed to be in the program. You can also see a full list of those qualified expenses along with like the income requirement chart. All of that information will be on our website and you can get that off of that QR code. Next question, how can we get our speech therapist to become a provider? Absolutely. You are more than welcome to send them the link to the website if you would like, or you are more than welcome to give them my contact information and I can speak to them further about the program. How do we know which private schools take this program? That will also be listed in that portal that I was talking about that will be open on June 27th. There will also be listed in the link on our website. If you have a school that you have in mind though, please feel free to send me their contact information or to give them mine and I would be more than happy to speak with them further about the program and talk to them about what would be required to get them signed up as a participating entity as a school. We're still waiting for an IEP assessment from our public school corporation when we make it for the application. So that application is June 27th to August 5th. As long as it's done before August 5th, then maybe. I really cannot speak upon the process for schools. I know that some school corporations take a little bit longer to process those assessments and those evaluations than others. but you are more than welcome to follow up with them and tell them that there is a timeline involved, and hopefully you will be able to work with them to get that completed. But that IEP, you will have to have that IEP developed in order to apply to complete the application. All right. And I'll wait for some more questions to come in. First and foremost, don't forget to do that poll for me, please, if you guys are seeing it. I do also, like I said, my email is right there. Please feel free to send me an email. I'm generally very responsive, and I can answer any and all questions. I know that this was a lot of information. And so if you just want time to think about it, and then after you've been thinking about it, you're like, oh, I should have asked this, it's right there. You can call me, you can email me, I'm available. This is also going to be, the slides are also available, so you can email me to request the slides. I do ask that you send me an email, that way I see it right there on my computer and I can just send it to you, rather than trying to remember who asked in the chat during the presentation. So send me that email. This will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you want to come back later and rewatch this, you're more than welcome to. That is all I have for you guys today. I will be staying on until 11:45. So if anyone else has any additional questions, please feel free to jump back on, or like I said, send me an email. But that is all I've got for you guys today. Thank you for joining us.